Okay, IG is not on yet. All right, and welcome, our beautiful people. Thank you so much again for joining us on this episode of Endometriosis Awareness Month special that we're running this weekend. And it is my pleasure to have Ifeoluwa Adeyemi with me. But give me a second, please. Let me check and make sure, okay, that we are live on IG as well so that we don't keep our audience on IG waiting. Alrighty, so I see that we are live on IG, we are live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. Please tell your friends, tell everyone, share the link, and let people know that we are live already. Again, thank you so much for joining us on this Endometriosis Awareness Month special. And honestly, I am super excited to have my guest sitting with me today and just talking. Just going to have a discussion, conversation about food and how food helps us to, heal. How food helps us in our healing process, and we just want you guys to we want to let you guys in our discussion. So please get your drink, get your snack, and just see what you can get from what we're going to be saying. There's going to be a lot of gems that are going to be dropping, so feel free to grab them and make use of them. All right, again, today I have with me Ifeoluwa Adeyemi. She is a food and wellness advocate. Ifeoluwa is a passionate food and wellness advocate with an academic foundation in human anatomy and several years of hands-on in pharmaceutical industry. She's a member of FIDES network under the World Health Organization, reflecting a commitment to advancing global health and evidence-based wellness practice. She also runs a thriving digital platform, yes, that I can testify, called Fair Delight _delight. So please we'll pin it. Musu, please pin our handle on all the pages so that people can also follow up. And she also dedicates in helping individual make informed decision on everyday food choices that nourishes our body, support optimal health, and promote long-term well-being. Alrighty, so we're glad to have you in. Thank you so much, Ife, for joining us today. I'll give you a few minutes to just say hello to our audience.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm really happy to join the conversation today. So today I'm going to be sharing practical nutrition tips that will help support our overall health as women, especially those living with endometriosis.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. And I hope you all catch what she said. She said she's going to be sharing practical tips. Practical tips. People, please make sure that you are catching all those tips so that you can also use it for your own wellness and well-being. So let's start with how did you get reading your bio? You read human anatomy,
Okay.
and now you are a food and wellness advocate. I kind of know that, human anatomy, you kind of have an understanding and everything, but how did you get into the food space?
Yeah. So I think it was curiosity, and then that made me go into the food space in the first place. As for health, I've always been fascinated by how the body works. That's why I actually studied human anatomy. So yeah, so my love for food launched me into cooking and through my recipes. So along the line, I kind of had a health challenge that made me start going into studying different recipes that would help heal my gut health. And I realized that food is more than something you just enjoy. It's actually a powerful tool to heal your health, to balance your body. So yeah, that made me, want to tell people that enjoying food alone, you have to make food work for you. You have to eat it in a way that it will nourish your body. What you eat can either make your body good or it can make you feel bad, cause an imbalance in your body. So yeah, I guess that's why I went into food and wellness. That's how I found myself here.
Oh wow, oh wow. So it wasn't as if you were trying to deal with one issue or the other. You were just fascinated with human body and everything and how food can help us, and all that. That's interesting. That's interesting because, apart from being a nutritionist, those that went to school for nutrition, apart from that, people that venture into that line are usually people that maybe they have health issues and they had to do some lifestyle changes and then they're now enjoying it and all that. But that's so very interesting. That's so very, very interesting. Thank you for explaining that. So when someone is dealing with health issues, take for instance like endometriosis, PCOS, fibroid, hormonal imbalance. Why do you think nutrition becomes an important part of that healing journey?
Now, when we talk about endometriosis in particular, it's mainly, aside the fact that it can be a reproductive issue, it's also an inflammatory condition. And then, if it's an inflammatory condition, anti-inflammatory food would help support or manage the symptoms that you feel from endometriosis. That's why if you eat nutrient-dense meals, balanced meals, it will help you reduce inflammation. There are foods that you eat that will reduce inflammation or that will increase inflammation. So the choice is yours. It's either you decide to delve into eating healthy, eating food that would help nourish your body in order for you to feel better, that would help balance your sugar, balance your hormones. And that's why, yes, when you eat nutrient-dense meals, you realize that you feel better in your body, and then the pains that come from having endometriosis is more manageable.
Alrighty. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for going venturing into um inflammatory condition like endometriosis. Yes, endometriosis is an inflammatory condition, and those are some of the things that flare of the pain sometimes. So, talking about inflammatory condition, what are some powerful foods out there that are well good to deal with inflammatory conditions?
We need to eat food. Um, I would say foods like ginger, turmeric. You can eat high fiber, high in fiber, because when you eat food that are high in fiber, it helps you, take out excessive estrogen from the body, thereby reducing inflammation in the body. Also, you also have to invest in your vegetable, eat your cabbage, your carrots, your kale, lettuce, and what have you. So yes, eating food that are rich in vegetable, rich in fiber, protein, and of course also have to reduce foods that are high in refined carbs, and also reduce ultra processed food and lots of, around that. Ultra processed food, if you take alcohol, you have to reduce up your alcohol intake. Excessive sugar, you need to reduce your taking of packaged juice. Okay, you need to reduce taking of packaged juice. You need to eat whole foods. Eat
For
your
people like us that love to drink soda,
yes. If you like to eat
Coke.
soda, you would need to reduce it and go towards the more natural one. Make your juice yourself at home. So that way you know what goes into what you're eating. Rather than the whole preservative and everything.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, because I know that for me when I started discovering that I had endometriosis. I'm part of, and that it doesn't have a cure, and that part of, the management is just some lifestyle changes. And I discovered that, oh, it's also an inflammatory condition. Therefore, I cannot eat too much of food that are high that are high in inflammatory whatever. I had to cut down on sugar. I had to, and the funny thing is, when I started having pain, I remember then when I was in high school and I started having pain. I know that some of my seniors would say, "Oh, just reduce your sugar intake, blah blah blah," but nobody ever told me what the connection was. Everybody, I think they just had it. They just had it, and they just felt, oh, it worked for them, and so they would just tell me then reduce your sugar intake. And I noticed that the month that I make sure I'm so deliberate on reducing the sugar intake, actually I have lesser pain.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that I have lesser pain, but there was no backing, people telling me, or even when I went to the doctor, nobody said to me, oh, reduce your sugar intake or anything. So I couldn't, it wasn't added up in my brain, kind of, but I'm glad that now we can talk about, foods that, are high in, that are powerful, that are anti-inflammatory foods and all that. Let's talk about, we have mentioned foods that are high, that are powerful, anti-inflammatory. Let's talk about the foods that are not good, that can, you know, cause much damage, that we're not supposed to even be. Yesterday we were talking to Dr. Badri, and she was saying that somebody like us that have endometriosis, we shouldn't even be doing too much of carbs. I didn't know that. I love to eat rice, and I can eat rice morning, afternoon, and night. Honestly, and I can eat it 7 days a week. To be honest, that's how much I love rice. But hearing that, I think that yesterday was the first time I'm hearing that you can be eating too much of carbohydrates as an endometriosis patient. So what are the food out there that you think that is not too good, especially with the kind of condition it is, inflammatory condition? And we're also talking about imbalance of hormones. What are the food that people should stay away from?
I wouldn't say totally stay away, because sometimes it's not possible to totally stay away. You want to reduce some of this food, say by 80%, because in Nigeria, if you tell people not to eat rice, it's not. So yes, so
It's not visible.
it's not easy, but we can do it. We can replace refined rice with brown rice or fada rice. If you love rice so much, you can do that. And then you should also you can't totally stay away from carb. You can just reduce your carb intake and take more of complex carb instead. Complex carb like your yam, your potato, in adequate, in normal quantity, not excessively. You take your plantain in right proportion. Instead of eating the refined ones, you can take complex carb instead. And at the same time, you also want to reduce your intake of seed oils and use the better oil instead, like olive oil. You also want to take you also want to make sure that your plate is balanced with adequate protein that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids like fat fish. You also want to make sure that you have your healthy fats like avocado on your plate. These nutrient dense meals will help you feel nourished and help you feel balanced. But you want to also reduce those. You want to reduce having, how we eat in Nigeria, where there's plenty rice on our plate. I'll just have one small stew and then meat on top of it. No, you can't just afford to start eating that way anymore, because it will do more harm than good. So you have to, balance, make sure that every of your plate is filled with fiber, has protein, has adequate healthy fat, has complex carb, and that's way your body also feels nourished.
Hmm. All right. Now that you've gone into talking about how our plate should look like and should be, um, I'm going to draw questions from there. The number one question is, I want you to give us an example. Build a plate for us. Like, you
Okay.
know, build a plate for us. What should be on that plate? A perfect anti-inflammatory plate for someone dealing with, all these kind of chronic condition, endometriosis, imbalance of hormones and everything. What should the plate looks like? Build it for us.
Okay. So I wrote up like a meal plan for a day meal plan for somebody who wants to manage endometriosis. So for breakfast, the
Okay.
breakfast should look like this: 1 to 2 slices of whole grain bread. Not the ones made with all-purpose flour and all of that. You want to whole grain
Wow.
bread,
Okay.
and then scrambled egg or boiled egg for breakfast. And then you also want to have your half avocado on your plate. Remember, I said 1 or 2 slices of whole grain bread. You don't want to do too much. You don't want to go, oh, man, I can't do bread. It's not enough for me I won't be okay. No, you have to, reduce your carb. You don't want it to be too much. So 1 or 2 slices is okay. Scrambled egg, half avocado, and then you can also have some side of fruit, maybe pawpaw, and then you can also have your green tea or ginger tea, because ginger is very rich in anti-inflammatory compounds. So now for snack time, you want to go with your, say, yogurt and then some flaxseed. Yogurt is very good for your gut health. When your gut health is balanced, you feel better. And then you also want to go for lunch. You go for brown rice, grilled fish, and say brown rice, which is what the carbohydrates there, and which has fiber in it as well, because it's brown rice, it's not refined. And then your grilled fish, which is what omega-3 fatty acids, and then of course protein, and then your vegetable sauce. So all of this, and then also because there's fiber there, it will help you remove what excessive estrogen from your body. Now, for afternoon snack, you want to also go for, say, fruits and nuts, in everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. You can say, because you're eating healthy, you can eat everything you like, just be eating it. Oh, they say this thing is healthy, I will finish it today. No, you will gain
Yeah,
calories.
there's tendency to do that.
If you do like that, you will gain calorie. So you want to do everything in moderation. So, say for dinner you can go with sweet potato, which is a complex carb, like I said, then plus chicken, and then some sauteed vegetable. You want to also make sure that when you're cooking your vegetable, you're not overcooking it. You're not overcooking your vegetable,
Mhm.
because there's a certain way you overcook your vegetable, you won't get the appropriate nutrients. You won't get the maximum, benefits you can get from that particular vegetable. So yeah, you can merge your dinner with sweet potato plus chicken plus sauteed vegetable. Now, this particular dinner is high in fiber and then, vitamin A. Then for in the night, you may decide to now take, chamomile tea. This will help you sleep well. When you sleep better, you feel better, and helps you, you feel it will reduce your stress. When most people, when your hormone is not balanced, realize that you're not sleeping well. So once you eat well, eat nutrients dense meal, you move as well, because we are not a stick. We need to move our body. So when you move and then you try to get a good sleep, you need to distress your body. You need to try and rest well. Yeah, that way you start feeling this thing is just not a 1 day thing, just like, oh, I've done well for 1 day and that is it. No, you have to, continue to do this thing.
Continue consistency.
Yeah, sometimes if you find yourself maybe feeling imbalanced or whatever, you didn't get there in 1 day. It's been years of eating rice or something that probably led us where we. So yeah, so we
Like
need
me.
to. Yeah, we need to. We need to consciously tell ourselves, no, now that we know better, we do. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, I think my next question will be, how are these things easily accessible? Because the honest truth is, like we say, health is wealth, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. And to really eat good food that will nourish your body, sometimes it can be costly. And sometimes it can even be, it might not even be easily accessible. I have one thing that I tell my husband all the time. I'm like, we're working hard. Therefore, we have to feed our temple, our body. We have to feed it with the best of the best.
Yeah.
So there's so many stores, but then I guess my question, especially for people in Africa, how accessible are these things? I know you were talking about, using is it olive oil? I think I heard you say olive oil or sesame oil. How accessible are these things, and are they things that ordinary African person, let's take for instance, what's the a civil servant can
The
afford?
average citizen.
Exactly, an average citizen can afford.
Yeah, it's not necessarily there are other alternative. Palm oil is also good if you get
Okay.
uh, a good palm oil that is not adulterated. It works fine as well. So in order to ensure that you always have a balanced plate on your table, I think that is either you choose that, because if you start saying it is expensive, is either you choose that expensive over going to the hospital too much to pay for, for
Yes.
yeah. So, or you start early so that you don't have to, you understand what I mean. So, or that you
Hmm.
feel better and then you're not in pain all the time. Because if you decide, no, I don't have the money, Joe, it's expensive. The cost of that expensiveness that you keep taking away, these results will definitely come back. So yeah, there are other alternatives too. You don't have to go for the high end vegetables. Like in Nigeria, we have ugu is not expensive. You get ugu 300, 500.
Okay.
And then yeah, personally, I like to get contact of vendors. Oh, can you supply me? Because they are perishable goods. Oh, can you supply me? Or can you come weekly? If I see anybody maybe going to mile 12, I have series of numbers of these food vendors. I would need this. So weekly, on a weekly basis, so that I don't tell myself, oh, I don't have fiber today. I've not eaten any fiber. I don't have this today. So when you put it upon yourself that no, this has to be done, I'm telling you, you will find a way. There are other alternatives. There's ewedu. Ewedu is very cheap, and I believe that we have it in our local markets.
Even
You get
okra. I think
Yes,
okra too.
yeah, okra is very cheap as well. So we can't always say, except you just want to go for the high end ones. There are several cheap ones. There's water leaf. There's ugu, there's ewedu, several one of them. And you just have to visit your local market instead of going for you want to go and buy bell pepper. Bell pepper that one of it is probably 2,500 or 3,000 naira. And how many do you need to get? No, I'm not saying those ones are not good. If you can afford them, please, by all means, go for those ones. But then again, to the average Nigerians, you do not have to spend your money on all of that in order to be healthy. For every budget, there's something for you. For
Hmm.
every budget that you have, there's something
I
for
hope
you.
I hope people are listening. For every budget, there's something for you.
Yes, you don't have to go overboard to start doing, oh, I need to buy chicken, I need to buy, yes, those things are good if you can afford them, but there are other options. And then you can get your nutritionist to do a meal plan for you and everything for your budget. So for every budget, there's a meal plan.
Thank you so much. I intentionally asked that question because I know that we're not all on the same level, and We just want to, as much as possible, give our audience, with whatever level they are, we want to
Yeah.
make sure that there's something for them to be able to relate to and afford, and know that it's also available for them, and know that, coming on this live and listening to someone like you, whatever you're saying still applies to them, not just, oh no, I can't afford this, so therefore this does not apply. It does apply. And in addition to what you have said, I also still feel that, you can grow some of these things.
Yeah.
I grew up with parents that love to grow things in a compound. Like my mom will love to grow cassava, we love to grow corn, vegetables, all these pepper, rodo, tatashe, chomo,
Exactly.
all of them. My mom will grow them to the extent of we rear a lot of things, chicken, goats, different things, duck, you know. I grew up with all these things, and these are some of the things that we shouldn't allow. These are natural things that you can go, like you said, the ugu, the okra, the jute leaf, ewedu, are things, little things that you can grow in your backyard, and
Sure.
you are even sure where they're coming from, you know. And these are organic. These are some organic that in the Western countries we pay for organic stuff.
True.
You
True.
understand? But these are things that you just kept behind your kitchen door and just
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I feel like it's exactly," and they're fresh.
Yeah.
They're fresh. I remember those days growing up. We'll get my mom and I and my brother will get into the little farm that we have in front of the house and beside the house, take out cassava, squeeze it, do all the things, go and give it to the people that will do the gari for us and everything. I will be happy that this came from our farm. you
True.
know.
True.
So we shouldn't allow all those things to. Those are some of the things that can also be done. You know. All right. I want us to go back to the question, and this question is more into hormone regulation.
Okay.
Are there some particular nutrition that support healthy hormone regulation, apart from the ones that you have said for endometriosis, for chronic pain and everything? But for hormone regulation, we know that we all need estrogen, we need progesterone and everything. What are
Okay.
the food that, and we know that, yesterday we were talking about hormonal imbalance and how, at some stage in our life, you know, we need to replace all those hormones because, you know, they are depleting as we grow, right?
Okay.
But she also told us that they're not cheap. It could be expensive. And like we said, we want to make sure that everybody has an option. If you
Okay.
can do hormonal replacement therapy, fine. If you cannot, what else are the option? Food. So
Yeah.
what are the food nutrients that are high in these things, that can help us?
Okay. So we need magnesium. Okay. Magnesium helps us to
Yeah.
support helps us to support stress. But even though dark leafy greens, I mean your what do they call them? Your spinach and then your efo tete, your green. They contain magnesium, vitamin C, and folate. Sometimes we do not get enough from these food. We do not get enough. So you can, supplement. You can supplement with your magnesium glycinate supplements. You have to get in order so that your body would get the adequate support that it needs from that stuff.
Mhm.
Even though
Yeah.
even though even though when you eat food, when you eat food, sometimes there's no amount of food that you eat that may be inadequate. I mean, food will help to a large extent, but if you get some supplements, vitamin D and K2, and then your magnesium supplements, those supplements, I know that a lot of doctors recommend those supplements in order to support your healthy living diet. But then again, you have to meet your doctor to give you your own you have to talk to your doctor for proper
Prescription
medical,
and direction.
yeah,
Yeah.
proper medical guidance. So yes, you have to eat more of your berries. Your berries contain anthocyanins, which helps to reduce oxidative stress, and then your garlic contains allicin, which is an anti-inflammatory compound that helps you, to reduce inflammation in the body. So yeah, but those are some of the examples I can list for now.
All righty. Thank you. I know you spoke about garlic, and I know that you know
Yeah,
almost
garlic.
everybody that I know likes garlic. In fact,
Yeah,
I have a big auntie that will even tell me swallow garlic, eat garlic. I'm like, no, I can't eat it raw. They're like,
you can
oh,
eat
God,
it
you can
with
eat it,
it.
just cut, just put it up. Like, no, hell no, I'm not eating garlic, raw garlic. I'm gonna cook with it. I'm going to do every other thing, but I'm not putting garlic in my mouth. But what about turmeric?
Turmeric
I
is very
know that
good.
a
Turmeric
lot
is
of
good.
people talk
Yeah,
about turmeric.
yeah. Turmeric is very good. Turmeric contains a compound called curcumin. Now this
Mm,
curcumin helps you to also reduce inflammation in the body. So yeah, you can take turmeric tea. You can add turmeric to your smoothie when you're making smoothies. And then, of course, consistency matters. It's not like you just eat it once and then it's be like that. No, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. When you want to eat anything, you tell yourself, will this be good for my body or is bad for my body?
body.
Have that consciousness. I'm not saying that you cannot. Oh, does it mean I can never take ice cream again? Does it mean I like to tell people that I believe that you should do like 80% healthy, 20% whatever you like sometimes. But the truth is that the more you feed yourself with healthy things, the more you really do not want to go into those other ultra processed things.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you're not craving ultra processed and excessive sugary stuff anymore. Like your body will start, you'll be seeing them as poisonous actually.
Mm.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
the more you train your body, the more your body repels them. You just be like, there's no need. Is this worth it?
Mm. What would you say about hibiscus flower that they use for zobo? How good
Yeah,
is that to our health?
I think Zobo is very, very good. I think Zobo is rich in vitamin C, you know, and then which will help you, improve your immune system. So yes, Zobo is very good, very good.
Okay. So, this next question, for someone who is trying hard to have a lifestyle change, to cut down the soda, the juice, to cut down sugary stuff, to cut down rice like I do, and all that. But the whole thing is just so overwhelming. Because for somebody like me, when I want to do things, I do things drastically. I just cut everything. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, but I went to see the doctor. My numbers are doing it. Oh no, I'm cutting that. That you're just overwhelmed with everything. How would you advise that person to go about it? What are the step by step that you advise the person to take to allow that person to slowly get into? Because you've spoken about consistency.
Yes, you have to be
You've
consistent.
spoken about consistency, and honestly, consistency is good, but consistency doesn't just happen. It happens with a lot of determination and everything. So, how would you help somebody that is already feeling overwhelmed with
I
okay
think that
all this lifestyle change?
the person would want to start small, so that the person doesn't get tired and just fall back. I don't think I can do this. I feel like I'm not saying totally remove refined carb. By refined carb, I'm talking of our popular rice here. You want to reduce it. You want to reduce it to, say, if you eat four big cooking spoon of rice. Now you want to reduce your portion to maybe say one cooking spoon, and then fill half of your plate with nice sauteed vegetable. The other quarter you want to fill it with your protein. and then your small carbohydrates. Say that is if you're really struggling with eating, or letting rice go, so you want to do it gradually. And then it's more of you. If I say, oh, reduce, stay away, stay away, stay away, just think of it as, let me just be adding think of it as, let me just be adding this to my diet. Don't focus on removal. They say I should not eat this one. They say I should not eat this one. Think of it as, oh, they said I should eat vegetable. They said I should eat fruits, nice fruit. They said I should eat protein. I should increase my fiber intake. The more focus on the good. Don't focus on, I shouldn't eat this, I shouldn't eat that, I shouldn't eat this, I shouldn't eat that. If I get overwhelming and all of that. Now, I would say my perspective, how I dealt with it, I felt like, you know what, I'm going to just focus on making sure when I go to the market, I tell myself what vegetable is on my list today, on my market list. I'll be like, okay, I'm buying ugu, I'm buying iridu, I'm buying okra, I'm buying what have you. I'm making sure that, okay, this week our fruit is watermelon, our fruit is pawpaw. You're adding all of those things to your market list, to your grocery list when you're going out. Instead of when you get home, you now realize that you're just eating what is inside your cabinet. So you're just eating cereals or whatever that you have in your cabinet. I'm like, well, I can't keep myself, Joe. Who will run to the market now and go and buy vegetables? So no, you have to plan. You have to plan. You have to plan. If you're getting overwhelmed, you have to sit and plan. If you're really serious about your health, you have to plan. You would sit down, draw a market list and say, this week, this and this is what we're going to be eating in our house. Adequate. You put down your protein, you write it down. We'll get so and so beef, we'll get so and so chicken, and all of those things. So yeah, I know it might be challenging sometimes, but we have to do it.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I like the fact that you talked about planning, because I was going to ask you about planning. How effective is meal planning in all these things that we're talking about? Because one of the things, even for me, one of the things that has contributed to maybe eating anything could be lack of proper planning.
Yeah.
When I don't plan properly, either my grocery planning or my cooking planning, if I don't do my meal planning properly, then I just eat whatever. I just
You
open,
fall
I'm
back to what
hungry.
is at home. You
Yeah,
fall
I'm
back to what
hungry. I get up, I go into the fridge, whatever is there, I get I eat
exactly.
it. So
Exactly.
I would like for you to emphasize more on that. And how can people do like a weekly planning, especially meal prepping?
Um, I would say that I would say cook in bulk. Okay, like for somebody like me, I try to cook in bulk so that you're not always in the kitchen because there are other things to be done. So yeah, if I'm going to for the week, you can tell yourself, oh, we're making a wedu and then we're prepping, your bell peppers. You're prepping your bell peppers. You already cut, you dice your bell peppers. There's a way you preserve your bell peppers in the freezer. You have those ones. You have your cabbage. You have your carrots for in your fridge, so that when you easily want to saute your vegetable and pair it with, you already prepped your protein as well. You're not just cooking every new batch of protein. You wake up, you cook your protein in bulk. You put your protein in bulk. So when you're it could just be that, oh, today you're just boiling only brown rice. You're just boiling only yam. You're boiling only yam and all of that. So you're pairing it with your already prepped vegetable, and then you're just sauteing and then putting your already prepped protein alongside, and then you have your fruits in your fridge and everything. So without proper planning, it's difficult to actually, eat healthy.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for answering that question. Another question that I wanted to ask from that question, you talked about preserving, cutting ahead and just preserving. How best can we preserve some of these things, especially in Africa that we have electricity issues?
Okay.
How best can we preserve this, especially with vegetables?
For that, I don't For that, I would say that get somebody that will supply you, maybe weekly, maybe every 3 days or something, because you have to, whatever is what doing well.
Doing well.
So
Yeah.
if it happen that you can invest in inverters, by all means, please do. If you can invest in solar inverter, you can do that. If you cannot, you may have to, partner with
Vendors.
these food vendors in the market that can help me send your son to bring maybe our daily or every three days vegetable that you always bring to the house. Because if you don't have electricity, there's really no way you can actually
Oh,
preserve some of these things. But then again, you would have to just make do with what you have.
okay. All right. In the course of our discussion today, you've spoken a lot about protein, and I know that protein, you know, is really, really big, especially when you are talking about dietary, you're talking about eating healthy, you're talking about, you will always hear protein will always surface.
Mm-hmm.
Please help us to itemize some proteins. Again, like I said, that you
Mm-hmm.
know people can access, that is easy to access for people. Some people, the common one is chicken
Okay.
or egg, but
Mm-hmm.
again, some people
Mm-hmm.
can afford it. Again, some people can afford it. What are the other options of protein that we have out there, that people might not know?
I think that, I don't know, in Nigeria, I think egg is one of the cheapest form of protein. So
Okay.
I'll totally not take egg off the table. You can also
Okay.
invest in um, shower shower fish. It's one of the cheapest form of fish that we have in Nigeria. Shower and panla fish. It's not until you
Okay.
buy your salmon. It's not until you buy your salmon and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go for, I say, for every budget. There's always a size. If you really, yeah. So there's shower, there's panla fish, there's egg, and then yeah, I guess there's also there's granules, there's soya beans, you know. There's also beans itself has quite a number of protein,
Protein.
quite
Yeah.
an amount of
Yeah.
protein if you love
Mm-hmm.
beans.
And there are
So
so
that
many things you can do. There's so many
there's
things you can
crayfish,
do with
there's
beans.
crayfish as well. So
Yeah. And there's so many things really that you can do with beans. You can do more, you can do akara, you can do, ekuru and all that stuff. So there's so many things. I just want our audience to know that there's always a way out, you know,
there's
as long
always
as
an
you put your,
alternative. Don't think that.
there's always a way.
Mhm. Don't think it's until you buy chicken lap, turkey wings, and all of those things before you can eat healthy. Yes, those things
Mm.
are great, but then there are other alternatives. Just make sure for every of your budgets, you feel like, okay, I can afford panla, I can buy crayfish, I can buy granules, I can buy beans, I can buy soya beans, and all of that. So yeah, those can work.
All righty. I think this will be my last question. If we have any question, we're going to take it. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section and we're going to read it out. Um, how possible is it even possible to love food? There are people that just love food. They are food lovers. Is it possible to love food, to be a food lover, and you're still eating healthy?
Is it possible to be a food lover and
A
you
food
eat?
lover and you eat healthy?
Um, I believe
Because usually food lovers like to go all out, eat
and enjoy.
everything and anything and enjoy.
Okay, so they're eating food for just enjoyment sake alone. Just anything that tastes nice, you just grab it in your mouth.
Exactly.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I think that in everything there has to be moderation.
Yeah.
So no matter how you feel like, oh, even the Bible says gluttony is a sin. So then you have to balance it. And if you do not treat body well, it will tell on you later, sooner or later. So yes, you might like food, but then please practice moderation and practice and know what is going into your body. You can't just, you can't be filling your body with alcohol, you can't be filling your body with ice cream, and you think that be at its best. It wouldn't. So then you think of the repercussion. Think you can enjoy good food. Healthy food is not supposed to be boring or tasteless. Healthy food is not boring or
Mm,
tasteless. So you can enjoy healthy food at
mm,
the way you're also enjoying the seemingly unhealthy.
mm,
So invest in healthy ones instead, in moderation. If you overeat healthy food, you'll be elderly fat.
mm.
If you overeat it, that, oh, they say this is healthy, let me now eat it very well, you're gonna have increase in calorie, my brothers and my sisters. So we have to practice.
Wow, 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 wow. Healthy food is not meant to be boring. People, can you hear that? Healthy food is not meant to be boring. To be honest, for a very long time, I also believe that, when you talk about healthy food, you're just saying, you know what, cut off this, cut off that, and the whole plate will just be tasteless. You not enjoy it. You not have pleasure even eating. You rather want to fast than even eating. I for the longest time, but
You have to have
that's one word that I would take home. Healthy food is not supposed to be boring. Wow.
not supposed to be boring. You can have fun with your plate. Prep your chicken properly instead of frying them. Grill them instead. Okay, so that way you're eating healthy. Instead of drenching your food in oil, you're using 1 tablespoon of oil to fry the 2 eggs. Instead of saying you're watching it, you're telling yourself that, okay, instead of doing this crispy yam, you're saying, let me use an air fryer instead. Let me use this instead. A better method, a healthier method. There's always a healthy method to do things. So that way you
Mm,
can still
mm.
enjoy the same thing. Some people argue that, oh, deep fried chicken is not the same as grilled chicken. But my dear, is you are going to choose your health. You are going to choose your health, and with time you will even get used to it. I personally prefer grilled chicken to deep fried. I cannot even stand deep fried stuff personally. I can't stand, if something is drenched in oil, I can't eat it because I'll feel somehow in my gut. So yeah, the more you practice it,
Yeah.
the better you feel.
Thank you so much for answering that question. I know that I said that was the last question, but I think you said something now that I want to draw a question from about cooking, how we cook our food. We've talked about, don't cook it too much because I'm also of the opinion that, it's better you grill than fry. Especially for people that have conditions like endometriosis and all the stuff that we've been talking about. But even apart from grilling and frying, what do you say about, you know, just cooking food generally? Do you have to cook? Like, I love to make especially a foriro, and my foriro is one in town. I can say that with my full chest, But one of the things that I've learned over the years in doing it is I don't allow my foriro to stay too long on the fire because I don't only want the taste, I also want the greenness. I don't want the
Want to
grain to
overcook
fade
your veg.
away ahead to overcook it. So, can you please talk to us as we wrap up about overcooking stuff? Even when it comes to stew, sometimes we overcook it.
Yes, you don't want to overcook your vegetable, especially vegetable, because you want to get the best nutrients from your vegetable. You know, mostly vegetables take about 3 minutes to get ready. You know, so but sometimes you just see people cooking it, it's taking too much time. I tell you, your mama is eating grass, so you have to try and then eat it, cook it, and then some. You don't even have to cook it on high heat. You have to also cook on medium to low heat so that you get the best out of your nutrients.
Nutrient.
Also, when you're cooking, say a for instance, now some people cook their soup drenched in oil, you know, palm oil. Because I said palm oil is a healthy alternative. Now, I'm not saying that you should go and drench your food in palm oil, you know. To everything, there should be
There's
moderation.
moderation.
Yes, because those oils are high in calories. So you want to, do everything in moderation. Add little oil and then cook as normal, the way you would normally cook it. Just, reduce your palm oil. Make sure your vegetables are not overcooked and everything, and then choose other healthier method. When you want to do something like, is there a healthy alternative to the way I want to do these things, when you eat your chicken, you be like, is there a better way that I can cook this without, actually using this much oil? When you want to eat your egg, is there a better way that I can make this scrambled egg without drenching it in oil and everything? So yeah, so having that consciousness, health consciousness, would help you, stay healthy, and then watch what you eat. Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Ifeolu. I truly, truly appreciate you joining me today, to talk about food and how food can help us. Thank you so much for joining us. And to our audience, I hope you have learned a lot. I hope you have picked one or two things that you will go back and, practice some tips that she has given to us today that you go back and try. I want you to also follow her page. I'm sure her page has been pinned. Please follow her on her page. She has a lot of informative, educative resources on her page that can be very, very useful to
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
And
for
you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much for everyone for joining us. And again, don't forget we have the Ask the Doctor tomorrow. Tomorrow is our Ask the Doctor. We have a special guest coming on, but tomorrow bring your question. It's just an open forum to come ask the doctor any health issue questions that you have. So remember, tomorrow is Ask the Doctor, and we will be live again. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye and God bless.
bye.